don't bother showing up to the wedding. Uneducated people aren't welcome. My sister's words dripped with disdain over the phone, as if she were mocking me. Uneducated? Aren't we still sisters? I asked, stung by her insult. I don't consider you my sister, you're just a failure, she shot back without hesitation. It wasn't just her. My parents and even her fiancé shared the same contempt for me. I had endured their judgment long enough. It was time to cut ties. My name is Heather. I recently turned 31, and I'm still unmarried. Ever since middle school, I've been a bit of a free spirit. Though I enrolled in high school, I dropped out early. Afterward, I lived with my parents, working part-time jobs and saving money. Eventually, I invested those savings and started my own small business. It may not be a huge company, but I built a stable, independent life. Near my office, my employees are wonderful people who respect me regardless of my educational background. They even admire my dedication and the positive work environment I've created. But there's one thing that still weighs on me, my family. I have a younger sister, ZY, 3 years my junior. We couldn't be more different. While she's not exceptionally intelligent, she's quick-witted and graduated from a prestigious private university. She's effortlessly social, always surrounded by friends, and excels at whatever she does. From a young age, ZY seemed embarrassed to have me as her sister. Her attitude was always cold, and when we lived under the same roof, she would roll her eyes at me whenever we crossed paths. Why do I have to be related to a loser like you? She would sneer. Loser? I work hard and save money, I'd reply. Oh, please, all you do is sit in your room all day. You barely even leave the house, she scoffed. I haven't gone out much because I'm preparing for my startup, I explained. ZY laughed in my face. A startup? Don't make me laugh. You're nothing but a freeloading failure. I'm serious. If you have time to spew nonsense, why don't you just leave? You're a waste of space, she spat. Her insults became a daily occurrence. I had grown used to our clashes, but the constant verbal abuse was exhausting. My parents, of course, always sided with ZY. To them, I was a disappointment. Even when she hurled cruel words at me, they never intervened. Instead, they found it amusing. I had enough. I decided to move out. Mom, Dad, I'm going to live on my own, I announced. So, do whatever you want, my mother replied indifferently. It doesn't matter to us, we have ZY, and that's all we need, my father added. I see, I said, swallowing the pain. Time passed, and I had little contact with my family. Then one day, my mother called out of the blue, her voice distant and formal. Your sister is getting married, they're signing the papers this Sunday. Oh, really? Congratulations to her, I responded, keeping my tone polite. Tell her yourself, and make sure you send a proper wedding gift, my mother said curtly. But I don't even know where she lives now, I pointed out. You have her contact information, don't you? Honestly, even at your age, you're still useless, she muttered before abruptly hanging up. Frustration bubbled inside me. Why was I expected to send a gift when they treated me like an outsider? If my mother wanted me to do this, she could have at least given me my sister's address. Despite my irritation, I decided to call ZY. After a few rings, she picked up, her voice as sharp as ever. What do you want? She snapped. Suppressing my frustration, I got straight to the point. Mom said you're getting married. So what? That's none of your business, you unemployed loser, she retorted. She told me to send you a wedding gift. Is there anything you'd like? As if you could afford anything worthwhile, she sneered. If I don't send something, Mom will just keep nagging me. Can you at least give me your address? Her next words left me speechless. People like you, uneducated failures, aren't welcome at my wedding. What do you mean, people like me? We're still family, I said, disbelief creeping into my voice. Family? I don't acknowledge you as my sister. I even told my fiancé that you're nothing but a defective product. You could at least watch your words, I said, shocked by her cruelty. ZY remained unfazed, brimming with confidence. I considered hanging up right then, but I knew if I didn't send a gift, my parents would make a fuss. Fine, I won't come to the wedding. Is that what you want? Like I care, you just embarrass me, she scoffed. Just give me your address. I won't bother you again after this. You're so annoying. Stop pretending like you're part of this family. I'm busy, so goodbye. With that, she hung up. I stared at my phone, exhaling deeply. Who did she think she was? I didn't even want to send her a gift in the first place. I made my decision. I was done. No more contact, no more forced gestures. And then, a month later, something completely unexpected happened. ZY had joined my company. Since I don't personally handle hiring, I didn't find out until after she had already started. When I saw her name and photo on the employee list, a mix of emotions surged through me. She's working here? At my company? Apparently, she wanted to work for a short while after marriage. I asked an HR employee about her. How was ZY during the interview? I asked casually. Oh, she was very pleasant. Her resume is impressive, and she has a great personality, they replied. I see, she's newly married but still wants to work. It's admirable, they added. Yeah, I suppose so, I murmured. There was no denying that ZY had strong credentials and charisma. She had fooled everyone here, but I knew the real her. A month passed, and just as I expected, she became a source of trouble. One day, an employee approached me, looking uneasy. Excuse me, President, may I have a word? What's wrong? It's about ZY, the new hire. What about her? Well, there's a rumor going around that she's having an affair with Lion. He's married. What I discovered left me speechless. After digging deeper, I confirmed that ZY was indeed having an affair with Lion. They were often seen walking together after work, completely unconcerned about how their actions affected the company. Their behavior was becoming a serious problem. Ellis, my trusted manager and right-hand woman, was the one who brought this to my attention. I knew I couldn't let her struggle with this alone. As the president, it was my responsibility to handle it. Seeing her troubled expression, I reassured her, I'm sorry you had to deal with this. I'll take care of everything. But you already have so much on your plate, Ellis replied hesitantly. Actually, ZY is my younger sister, I admitted. Her eyes widened in shock. Wait, what, your sister? I nodded. I didn't mention it before because, honestly, ZY and I don't get along. She probably doesn't even realize she's working at my company. Ellis looked taken aback but eventually sighed. I see. Well, I'll leave it to you, then. Thanks, I'll handle it as soon as possible, I assured her. Once she left, I leaned back in my chair, exhaling deeply. What should I do first? To get solid proof, I hired a private investigator. What they uncovered was beyond anything I had expected. Not only was ZY cheating, but she was also stealing from the company. Unbelievable. She was misusing company funds for personal luxuries with her secret lover. Fury boiled inside me. I had tolerated my sister's insults for years, but this was crossing the line. I compiled all the evidence, photos, financial records, everything, and handed it over to the HR department. My decision was clear. Both ZY and her lover had to go. They were fired immediately. A few days later, I was in a meeting with the president of one of our business partners when an urgent knock interrupted us. It was Ellis again. Sorry to interrupt, but we have a situation, she said hesitantly. I gave her a questioning look. What happened? ZY showed up at the office. She's causing a scene, demanding to know why she was fired, and she brought her husband with her. I sighed. Of course she did. Before I could even step out of the room, I heard her voice. There you are. ZY stormed toward me, her husband close behind. She looked furious, but there was a smugness in her eyes, as if she thought she had the upper hand. What the hell, sis? How could you fire me? She shrieked. I folded my arms. Didn't HR explain it to you? I don't care what they said. You're my sister. How could you do this to me? She yelled. Her husband decided to jump in. You're unbelievable, he sneered. Firing your own flesh and blood? That's low. I arched an eyebrow. Do you even know why she was fired? Obviously, it's just over a small company expense, right? He scoffed. I let out a dry laugh. Oh, is that what she told you? His smirk faltered. What do you mean? ZY stiffened beside him, silently pleading with her eyes, but I was done protecting her. Your wife was fired because she was having an affair with a married coworker, and on top of that, she was stealing company money to fund their little dates, I stated plainly. His face drained of color. You're lying. Believe what you want, I said indifferently. I have proof. He turned to ZY, his expression now one of betrayal. ZY, tell me this isn't true, he demanded. She stammered, unable to form a response. I turned to leave, but he wasn't done yet. Your company is trash anyway, he barked. A pathetic business run by a high school dropout and a bunch of nobodies. I rolled my eyes. Not worth my time, I muttered, turning away. Just then, the president of our business partner stepped forward. Hey, he called out. ZY's husband spun around, and his face turned ghostly pale. President. He stammered. It turned out that he worked for the very company we were partnering with, and his boss had just overheard everything. You know, the president smirked. I was under the impression that you respected our business, but it sounds like you don't think very highly of us. The husband gulped. And no, sir, that's not what I meant. If you're so unhappy here, I'm happy to accept your resignation, the president said coolly. Please don't do that, he begged, practically bowing. As I watched him squirm, ZY suddenly turned her fury on me. You ruined everything, she screeched. My husband is in trouble, and now my affair is out in the open. I shrugged. Not my problem. How could you be so heartless? She cried. We're family. I smirked. Family? Yes, you're my older sister, she whined. I shook my head. I don't have a younger sister. She gasped. What? You made it very clear that I wasn't part of your family a long time ago, so now I'm doing the same, I said coldly. You're being cruel, she sobbed. I chuckled. That's funny coming from someone who spent her whole life belittling me. Face it, ZY, you were nothing to me, just a former employee who got caught stealing and cheating. That's all you are now. ZY collapsed, sobbing hysterically. And with that, it was over. The aftermath, her husband, humiliated, was demoted at work. Then, when news of her affair spread, he filed for divorce. On top of that, the wife of her lover sued her for damages. Our parents, they turned their backs on her the moment things went downhill. Now, ZY is alone, struggling to get by. Meanwhile, my business is thriving, and I'm living a fulfilling life. I may not have the so-called perfect family, but I have something better: success, independence, and the satisfaction of knowing that karma finally did its job. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Stay tuned.